Hi. First of all, I want to apologize for not being there, Sam, and all of you. I'm not there because, you see, I'm in Florida. I've been in Florida all winter. Not that I want to rub it in, but it's beautiful down here, and I've missed all of the snow. And now I'm missing Sam's party, and I'm really sorry about that. But anyway, um, there's probably nobody in the audience who really remembers me. And those of you who do remember me probably wish that you didn't. But let me tell you who I am. Let's see, on my resume here it says CEO, club head, personal style and attitude as a way of life. Are you or your organization stuck in a rut and need a change for the better? Has your doctor or your spouse or your lover or your mirror told you that they don't like what they see? Take a club head break, like a massage. Work those abs, figure out those calories, get a new hairstyle and makeup, and more importantly, find that inner path that will lead to success. Clubhead designs consulting, educational, and experiential services for each client's needs. And in the course of training, clients may even find the value of a hat in the development of their personal attitude. How's that? That's what my resume says now. However, back when I came to a very small urban hospital as a chief of psychology in Baltimore in 1988, my resume said something completely different. I was to supervise something like 8 psychologists and run a small internship program. That was a long time ago. And since then, a lot of water has run under the bridge, and I ended up managing the entire mental health system for the state of Maryland, and a lot of staff, so like 300. Anyhow, how do I know Sam? Well, Sam I met in 1994, when he came as the chief of Fort Howard, where he supervised something like 5 psychologists. Very small program there. And he was part of our internship program. We were a consortium. And then a lot of water has passed under the bridge since then, too. Sam, when we started to collapse into this large, complex system that is known as the BAMX now, Sam became the chief of the startup, one of the first residential programs. Oh, by the way, some little known facts about Sam. Sam cut his psychiatric teeth at ridiculously hard programs in Coney Island and Brooklyn. So he is a very strong, psychiatrically trained psychologist. And he came with us with some very, very good skills, which is why he's taken on a lot of these programs with some background. Another little known fact of Sam is that he loves opera and he sings tenor. In fact, he was going to be the 4th tenor of the famous 3 tenors, Pavarotti and Carreras, and was this the 4th one? Who was that 4th one? It was oh gosh, I'm losing it here. Domingo, Placido Domingo. But it would have been Pavarotti, Carreras, Domingo, and Stern. Sounded too much like a law office, so they just didn't ever work it out. Sam, why don't you sing us a few bars? No? Well, of course not, because I'm kidding. But he does love opera. He has a little opera club that meets at his house every now and then, and he has this fabulous audio, media room and he has a collection of operas that they watch. And he also plays an instrument, the clarinet, and and has played famous places like the Constitution Hall and the Kennedy Center. And I believe he's even played Carnegie Hall. There's a funny story about it. Even though he was raised in New York City, he was lost on his way to Carnegie Hall, and he stopped an old woman to ask where Carnegie Hall. How does he get to Carnegie Hall? And she looked him up and down twice and saw his little clarinet case, and she said to him, "Practice, young man, practice." Well, anyway, he got there on time. It didn't matter. But he has played the clarinet at all these places, and he's been playing with the USA VA orchestra for a number of years. And he enjoys that. So those are little known facts about Sam. Let's see. He, as I was saying, at the VAMIX, he started out as the chief of psychology at Fort Howard. And as you know, the VAMIX started out as 3 separate hospitals with 3 separate chiefs of every service. And some services were fortunate enough to just have 3 chiefs, and that boiled down into 1 chief. But mental health was also fortunate to have, at least 4 services in it, each with a chief. So that was like 4 times 3 is 12 services that boiled down into 1 chief. So there were a number of people who were sort of left holding the bag, and Sam was one of them. And he very graciously took on many hats after that boiling down. And the first one was being the chief of the startup, one of the first residential substance abuse programs in the country. And he did very well there. He moved on to be the chief consulting psychologist for the VAMIX, which then morphed into the lead psychologist after I took on the acting director of the mental health program. And then ultimately I went to central office for 3 years and came back as the visiting service line manager for VAMIX, and then a few years as acting director again. Sam started out supervising 5 psychologists, ended up supervising near 70 psychologists, being responsible for all of their credentialing and privileging when they came on board. And finally, with some consultation with me, developed the executive structure that exists today of supervisory psychologists that report to him and handle most of the supervision of psychologists. I actually thought that Sam was one of 2 people that would die at their desks at this hospital. You could rely on Sam to answer his phone any time of day or night and take care of a problem for you. I found him at his desk on Saturdays and Sundays. He's a remarkable man, and just would do anything for you. He is the quintessential 3-legged pig. I don't know how many of you have heard me tell the story of the 3-legged pig that I met in Kansas. As I was driving down the road one day, I lived in Kansas for a year, and it's a remarkable place. But I was driving down the road one day, and a 3-legged pig ran across the road, and I screeched to a halt, and it struck me so much that I asked the farmer that was sitting on his porch about it. And I asked him, and he said, "Oh, that is one very special pig." I said, "Well, yes, please tell me why he's got 3 legs." And the farmer said, "Well, my wife and I were sleeping in our beds, and the house was on fire, and that pig came running up the stairs and dragged us out of that house just as it was collapsing. We would have been dead if it wasn't for that pig. That's one very special pig." "Well," I said, "yes, Sounds like he was a very special pig. But why does he have 3 legs? Well, the farmer said, that is one very special pig. My 5-year-old niece was playing out there in that road you were driving on, and this big 5-axle cab-over engine truck came running down that road like a grease on a beaver, and just ran over her legs like she wasn't there. And my gosh, that niece of mine would have died because there was nobody around. And out of nowhere, this pig comes running and drags her to the nearest hospital. And she just recovered just fine and dandy, and she's now cheerleading for the Dallas Broncos. And that is really going very special pig. And I went, woohoo! Yes, she is. But, why does she have 3 legs? Well, let me tell you, this fair farmer said. My nephew was out hoeing the back 180 with a combine, and that combine just up and fell over on his leg, and he was stuck there, and there was nobody around, wasn't going to be around until dinner time, and it was like high noon, and he would have been crippled all his life. But out of the wheat comes running this pig, and the pig lifts his combine up off this boy's leg and drags the boy to the hospital, and the boy is miraculously cured, and now he's playing football for the Chicago Bears. ain't that something? Well, that is really one very special pig. And I went, oh, you have me exhausted with this special pig. But why does he have 3 legs? Well, ma'am, one special pig like that, you can't eat it all at once. Well, you see, I think that Sam is that very special pig to this hospital. You know, they just keep giving him more to do, and they just can't, let him go. So I'm sort of glad that he's decided to go, because I remember one night, he and I were having this talk by the elevators, the parking garage elevators. And we were talking, it was like 10:30 at night, and we were still there. And we were actually, feeling bad about leaving because we hadn't finished everything yet. But, we were talking, and he was being very philosophical about wishing that, someday when he was on his deathbed, that he doesn't wish that he had spent more time at home and that he had spent less time at work. And, well, that night I had this dream that he and I were like these 2 old men who had come to the end of their lives and had lost everyone except each other. And we had nothing but this chess game that we played in the park, and we discussed nothing but if there was an afterlife or not. And we said, is this all there is? All there was the Vamex, and now this. Is there anything else? I mean, and that's the way that the conversation went. And finally, we agreed that if one of us died first, we'd come back and tell the other if there was an afterlife and what it was like. And that was all the hope we had from that point on. And then, of course, one of us died. It was Sam. And that left me alone. It was very sad. Until one night, I heard Sam's voice. Christine! Christine! Like I often heard in the halls of Vamex. And I said, Sam, is that you? Are you here to tell me what the afterlife is like? And he said, yes, I'm here to tell you what the afterlife is like. I said, what's it like? He said, well, I get up in the morning, and I eat, and I make love, and I eat, and I make love again, and I eat, and I make love, and I fall asleep. And the next day, it happens again. And I said, wow, that doesn't sound so bad. And he says, well, it's not so bad if you're a moose in Michigan. Oh well. So I figure you should enjoy your life now. And Sam, I'm so glad that you decided not to die at your desk and that you're going home to spend some time with Renee. Even though I know Renee is worried about it. Renee, don't worry about it. It's going to be okay. Because, like, who was it? Lionel Barrymore, somebody famous, said, dying is not hard. Comedy is hard. Dying is easy. Comedy is hard. Like my speech is just, my speeches just showed. Comedy is pretty hard. So retire in grace. Have a good time. And all of you, remember, life is short. Spend every day as though it were your last. Live it as if it were a party. And dress for it. There may be a hat in your future. Sam, good luck. I'll see you when I get back to Columbia. Bye.